Again, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. How are you? Please take a good look in the chat. I shared the Nearpod link with you. I would like you to take some time and go to Nearpod and log in right now. And just a quick reminder, all cameras should be open, and that's part of your school policy, okay? Please remember, as it was stated last week, I would like you to enter both your first and last name in the Nearpod, okay? As you join. Thank you so much. So while you guys are logging in, I just want to quick check in with you. Can everyone just give me a quick thumbs up to show me how you feeling today? Are you feeling good? Did you have a great weekend? Did you do anything special? How are we feeling this morning? Again, I want to remind you to show your beautiful, lovely face on camera, please. As part of your school policy, you are required to open your cameras when you are in class. That have joined me so far. I'm waiting for the rest of you lovely young people to join me for this wonderful lesson about the water cycle. And I know your what is it called? Here was about the properties of water. So who would like to share what they put in there? What are the properties of water? What are the three properties of water, or the three phases that water goes through? While we're waiting for everyone to join, let's have some fun with the water cycle. Okay, so remember, okay, so I would like you to share, what do you know about the process or the properties of the water cycle? What do you guys know about it? Share with me your thoughts. Evaporation means it goes into the clouds. Good. I know that they pick up water from a pond and make it to the cloud. Then right, very good. Then it rains. Right. I know that. I know that dogs have to eat. Very funny. Very, very funny. Okay. I want you to understand that we can have fun, but I am not going to accept answers that are not related to what we're talking about. I shared with you a joke in the beginning, and this is not appropriate now. Okay, someone show me a picture of the water cycle. Okay. The fundamental characteristics of the hydraulic cycle is that it has no beginning, no end. Very good. And here we have another comment with dogs in it. Ladies and gentlemen, these comments are not related to the water cycle. And I can see that you're trying to have a little fun and play around in class, but this is not appropriate. So I'm going to ask you to refrain from posting things that are not related to what we're discussing. Thank you. As a student teacher and a guest in your classroom, I would think you would want to show me your best behavior. Okay, we are to use it in our everyday lives. Correct. Thank you for those responses. Okay, I have 10 people in this Nearpod. However, I have quite a bit more in the class. So I have 11 in the class. Okay, so someone is not logged in. And this is the last time I'm going to make this request, because you guys all of you are very much aware of what's expected from you. And not showing yourself on cameras is one of the things that is not expected from you. You must do this. Okay? Thank you very much. All right. So we're going to take a virtual reality tour of the Iguazu Falls in South America. All right. And I want you to pay attention and take notice to the different ways water is represented. Meaning, how is water, where is the water coming from? All right. So as you can see here, this is a very, very beautiful piece of landscape here. And while we're looking at this, can you share in the chat for me, how many of you have ever visited a falls? How many of you have seen a waterfalls? When I grew up in New Jersey, we had a waterfall that wasn't very far from my house. It was really beautiful. And people would go visit it all the time. So share with me in the chat, how many of you have ever visited a waterfall, or is this your first time? So you can see water coming from here, water coming from here. There's another process of the water cycle going on right here. So where is all this water coming from? Where is it coming from, and how is this process going? You see here, look, the water, there's a process that's going on here in which it's going up in a form. Oh, okay, nice, nice. All right. So you see this, everyone? This is beautiful, isn't it? So have any of you had a chance to ever visit a waterfalls? Or is this your first time in this virtual reality exploration that we're doing here? I want to know, I want to hear from you. Tell me, have you ever visited waterfalls? Have you ever visited waterfalls? Okay, maybe the water is coming from the ocean creating a waterfall. It's my first time. Okay, yes, no. Great, great. And I've also visited Niagara Falls. I have family in Canada, so I used to visit Canada very often as a young lady. And Niagara Falls is very beautiful. Okay, all right. So now I want you to remember what we saw here in this virtual tour, okay? And try to think about where you think the water is coming from. Look at this beautiful view of all the water entering into that. Thank you for sharing in the chat, guys. Appreciate it. Okay, so what is one way water is present in the Iguazu Falls? Now, you notice I have your names showing now because these answers about dogs and things like that are not appropriate for this class. So I need to know who's writing what. Now, if you want to be treated as a young adult, as you are, then I would suggest you refrain from making those comments, and I will need to share your names and your comments with everyone. Okay? So, what is one way that water is present in the Iguazu Falls? Tell me. Okay, in the waterfalls, yes. Any other way? Okay, the waterfall, maybe by the oceans created. Okay, that created. Maybe by the oceans that create the waterfalls when it spills over and the waterfalls release water into the rivers. Okay, great answers. Anyone else would like to share? So while exploring the Agazo Falls, you may have recognized that that there is water in the falls and also the clouds. Additionally, water is given off by the trees. These processes combined are called the water cycle. As we proceed in the lesson, please pay attention to some other ways we can find water in our ecosystem and the role of the sun and ocean play. Miss Johnson, you're doing so much talking. Can you share, you want to share something with us about the water cycle? Okay, well, if you don't have anything to share, please, I would like you to join us in the conversation, okay? Thank you. All right, so we're going to watch a video next about the water cycle, okay? And I want you to notice how water is added to the ecosystem and then how it's transformed. You're going to learn about those key terms that we mentioned at the top of class: transpiration, precipitation, condensation, evaporation, and runoff. Okay. And you please remember that you are to find the meaning of precipitation and runoff on your own. And I would like you to share that with us in the next class. And you'll find that going through your CK12 lesson. Okay. Let me rewind this.
You may think every drop of rain falling from the sky or each glass of water you drink is brand new, but it has always been here and is a part of the water cycle. At its most basic, the water cycle is how water continuously moves from the ground to the atmosphere and back again. As it moves through this cycle, it changes forms. Water is the only substance that naturally exists in 3 states on Earth: solid, liquid, and gas. Over 96% of total global water is in the ocean, so let's start there. Energy from the sun causes water on the surface to evaporate into water vapor, a gas. This invisible vapor rises into the atmosphere where the air is colder and condenses into clouds. Air currents move these clouds all around the Earth. Water drops form in clouds, and the drops then return to the ocean or land as precipitation. Let's say this time it's snow. The snow will fall to the ground and eventually melts back into a liquid and runs off into a lake or river, which flows back into the ocean, where it starts the process again. That's just one path water can take through the water cycle. Instead of snow melting and running off into a river, it can become a part of a glacier and stay there for a long, long time. Or rain can seep into the ground and become groundwater, where it's taken up by plants. It can then transpirate to gas directly through the leaves and return to the atmosphere. Or instead of being taken up by the plant, the groundwater can work its way up to a lake, river, spring, or even the ocean. As you can see, the water cycle can be a very complicated process, and all its paths through Earth's ecosystems are complex and not completely understood. Water is essential to life on Earth, and fresh water is a limited resource for a growing world population. Changes in the water cycle can impact everyone through the economy, energy production and use, health, recreation, transportation, agriculture, and drinking water. And that's why understanding of the water cycle has become one of NOAA's grand science challenges.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching that video with me. So you can see the importance of the water cycle. If the water cycle is not working properly or something happens to it, it can affect a lot of parts of our lives that we're unaware of. And I think sometimes we take advantage of water. We waste a lot of water, and we do a lot of things with it that we shouldn't do. So imagine the world where the water cycle is not working. What would happen to us? So the next time you're going to waste water or throw water away or something like that, keep that in mind, right? Keep that in mind, because we should be conserving water. So on the next slide, we're going to talk about, there's a matching activity about the water cycle. Okay, you will have 3 minutes to participate. All right, I would like you all to enter and enjoy and see how well you do. Two more people to get 6 out of 6 to beat the other. Okay, I have 3. One more person and we'll beat the last class. 4, 5. Oh, wow. You guys are competitive. Well done. What about we get all 10? What about if all 10 of you get them all right? Let's go for that. That would be great. So what I'm going to do is I want to ask you again, based